Well, it's a cool evening, and I'm just sitting out here just enjoying the post-sunset time. And I was contemplating a memory of a night that felt a lot like this. Now, when I was a kid, I was born and raised in a Civil War hospital. It was technically built originally in the 1750s as sort of a fort against Indians. The windows were slanted and stuff so arrows wouldn't hit people or whatever. It was built on top of a wellspring, so originally it was called the Springfield. Later on, they called it Aspen Grove because it had aspen trees all around it. But what was interesting was on an evening like this, it was actually the winter time, my brother and I would go down into the basement, and there was a new addition to the house in like the 1900s. And the new addition was the kitchen. And the kitchen sat above the dirt floor, so you go down the basement stairs, about halfway down, you'd see this opening, and it was a crawl space under the kitchen. And it was maybe 3 feet tall and dirt floor. And we would stick a couple of spotlights on stakes in the ground. We'd take the metal detector, and we would crawl in there and start looking for artifacts. And in the wintertime, it was about this temperature down there. And there'd be black snakes that are hibernating. We just kind of crawl around them. One time we were down there and I started digging, and my brother was like, well, we didn't use a metal detector there. Why are you digging? I said, I think there's something here. Just let me look. So I kept paddling with my hands, just digging through this really, really dry dirt. It's like, the kind of dirt that could hold a mummy, basically. I never had seen moisture. So I'm going through this powdery dirt, I'm digging, and then I hit something, and I struggle to pull this thing out. It ends up being the brim of a hat. Best I could tell was it was probably a Union soldier. The hat was in disarray. A lot of it was missing. But as I dug more, I came upon a bone. It looked like a rib bone. Then I came across part of a shirt. It was like the pocket area, it looked like, because there was some kind of a thing on it. It looked like a medal or like a war award or something. I don't even know if they handed those out in the Civil War, but it looked like some kind of decorative thing. And my brother and I just kind of stared at this, and he goes, should we dig any deeper? And I said, do you really want to? I'm like 7 years old, and my brother's like 12. And so we both looked at it, and he said, if we take this to Mom, she's going to want to put it in the display case. And I said, no, we can't do that. Let's put it back in. So we put it back in the ground, and we covered it over with dirt, and then we prayed, because we didn't want any more haunting issues we didn't want somebody angry that we dug up their grave. So it was funny because years later, my mom was at a party, and they had a psychic there at the party, and the psychic just kept staring at Mom. Finally, she came over to Mom, took her hand, and she said, there's bodies in your basement. And my mom, not knowing what had happened, said, well, I lived in a Civil War home, but I can assure you there were no bodies in that basement. Isn't it amazing how just like a temperature and a scent or a sound can just take you back? I just suddenly remembered what that crawl space was like.